In case you weren't with us last time, Rocky and Bullwinkle located the missing weather lady.
There she is, Bullwinkle, and Boris must have been the thief who stole her.
The plan to get her back was simple. Bullwinkle would get Boris's attention. Rocky would then short the light circuit. In the darkness, Bullwinkle would grab the weather lady and take her ashore. It was as simple as that. Alas, so was Bullwinkle.
So your name is Colonel Beauregard, yeah?
That's right, sir. Of the Bullweevil Beauregards.
Boris, that is Moose.
No.
Yes.
I thought maybe it was Miles Standish.
Maybe you're right.
Natasha, go get gun and one bullet. Don't get two bullets.
For why?
I might use second bullet on you know who. Sorry for all the chit-chat, Colonel. Now, how would you like to make a bet?
You bet. No, we did that one last time, didn't we? Here you are.
What's that, piggy bank?
Pig in a poke, y'all know.
Okay, here is 5 cards. What you got?
5 cards, just like you said. See, how'd you do that?
Do what?
Deal me 5 cards and know how many I had.
Good thing I brought my mother seals along. Please, Moose, Mr. Beauregard, what cards you hold?
A king high.
Straight?
No, just a king high. And there's 4 of them.
Too bad.
I didn't win?
No, I got a potsy.
A potsy?
2 threes and the joker.
That beats 4 kings?
On this boat it does.
Yeah.
By this time, Rocky had found the master light switch, and Natasha had found an elephant gun. Both went into action at the same instant. Well, you think Otto Preminger made an exodus, huh? In less than 10 seconds, the good ship Sands Hotel was devoid of any activity, except, of course, for the captain and the first mate.
Darling, what happened?
Natasha, you came this close to hitting Moose.
This close? I must have hit someone else then.
I'm going to be a sport and give you 3 guesses.
Oh, no, Boris, not. It wasn't. It couldn't.
Go get needle and thread.
While Boris is getting to the seat of his troubles, we'll peek in on Rocky, who is waiting anxiously on shore.
Sure wish Bullwinkle would get here, and I hope he has.
Hiya, Rocky!
Gosh, am I glad to see you. Did you get the weather lady?
She's right here, tucked under my...
Was then they noticed an alteration in the lady in the booth.
She's gone robot on us.
Bullwinkle, you grabbed a phone booth.
Taking advantage of the situation, Rocky telephoned Boris.
Listen, Foxy Squirrel, I wouldn't sell new dealer for all the tea in bags. How much? $50 tax-free.
Hold still.
His deal. Send Moose over with money. That's 50 smackaroonies I didn't expect to get.
You really sell blonde in booth for $50.
Does money grow on radishes?
Suspecting that Boris might pull a fast one, Rocky insisted that the transaction take place in the center of town in front of a few hundred Southern gentlemen.
Okay, the money's in this sack.
And weather lady is in envelope.
You stuffed her into that tiny envelope. Kind of hard to believe.
Hey, what's coming off here?
Key is in here. Key to safety deposit box in depot. Safety deposit box has weather lady.
I don't know. That seems like a pretty...
Ooh, hold still, Boris. There is a mosquito on your cheek.
And the moose made a deft swipe.
Missed.
But the men standing on the sides didn't.
Slapped his face.
And that, gentleman, means a duel.
Well, this was an unforeseen development. Don't miss our next installment, unhappily entitled Dual Controls, or Put It in Second.
Once in a kingdom, on a street, there was a potter's shop. The reason that it was a potter's shop is because there was a potter inside who made pots. All day, every day, the potter made big pots, little pots, round pots, and square pots.
I don't know why I make these square pots. Nobody ever buys them.
Because his whole life was built around pots, the poor potter had developed a boiling temper. Each night when he'd finished his work, he would slam shut the door of his shop, grumble his way along the street,
Grumble, grumble.
enter his house with a slam of the door, and say to his wife,
Where's my dinner?
On the table, dear.
Curds and whey? I hate curds and whey.
But, dear, you hate everything.
Huh? Oh, that's right. Give me a spoon, baby.
Then, when he'd finished dinner,
All right. Where is it?
Here it is, dear.
and his wife would hand him a pot that he would smash into 1,000,000 pieces.
There. Now I can read the paper.
Following this, the potter's good wife would always say to him,
John, I do wish you'd do something about that temper of yours. It's going to get you into trouble someday.
he would answer.
Bah!
The following day, as he grumbled his way toward home,
Grumble, grumble.
he chanced to bump into a witch who was taking her sick bat to the veterinary. And, of course, he flew into a rage.
Why don't you watch where you're sneaking? Oh, you witches are all alike. Hog the whole road if we'd let you. You don't scare me, and that goes for your bat. Furthermore...
Well, now it was a short time later that the potter's wife was in the backyard gathering wood when...
My, John is home already.
and she hurried into the house.
Hello, John. Anything happen at work today?
Nothing that I would care to talk about.
Why, John, you've been turned into a frog.
I was hoping you wouldn't notice. What am I going to do, dear?
Hop yourself right back to that witch and tell her you're sorry. Maybe she'll take pity and break the spell.
Willing to try anything, the potter hopped off down the road to the witch's house. Unfortunately, that time of year was the season for witches, and he hadn't gone too far before he met a second witch.
Oh, goody, a horrid little frog. I think I'll turn you into an ogre.
No, I'll run and hide.
It was too late, for with a wave of her crooked stick, the old witch turned him into an ogre.
Say, nice job, even if I do say so myself. Well, now I can knock off for the day. Ta-ta.
Now the poor man was in more trouble than ever. And it wasn't over yet.
Hi, ogre.
Don't call me ogre. I hate being an ogre.
Oh, well, shucks, I can fix that for you.
You mean you'll change me?
Sure.
And she did. Into a troll.
There you go, kid. Now you can go live under a bridge and scare billy goats.
Even though he was now a troll, he didn't have the slightest interest in living under a bridge. All he wanted to do was to get home without meeting any more witches. But that, it seemed, was impossible.
Say cheese.
Don't say it. You were going to cast a spell on me.
How did you know?
A lucky guess.
And waving her wand, she cast the spell, turning him into a handsome prince.
Say now, things are looking up.
But not for long. For the witch that just turned him into a troll saw this, and she became very angry.
What's the idea of breaking my spell? When I change him into trolls, they stay trolls.
How dare you? I say handsome prince.
Troll!
Prince.
Troll!
The next time around for the prince, I am going to cut out.
Prince.
The second he turned into the handsome prince, off he ran as fast as he could go. He had made it to the town and was just a few blocks from home when...
Oh, you blockhead. You are a nut. Why don't you...
Too late. Too late did he realize that it was the same little witch who had turned him into a frog in the first place.
Ma'am, would it help to say that I'm sorry? I guess not.
Sadly, the potter went home to his wife, resigned to the fact that he would live out his days as a frog. This, of course, would have been a very unhappy ending, except that this is a fairy tale, and in fairy tales, beside witches, ogres, and the likes, there are good fairies.
Good, Potter. It was letting your temper boil over that got you into all of this trouble in the first place. But I think you've learned your lesson. Therefore, I will help you.
Boy, it sure feels good to get out of that wet skin.
And you, good wife, must always watch your husband to make certain that his temper never boils over again. Farewell.
Well, sir, the potter's wife did watch her husband. She watched him when he slept, watched him when he ate, and watched him from morning to night as he made pots in his pot shop. They lived happily from that day to this, and never again did he lose his temper, for, as we all know, a watched potter never boils.
To sum it all up, this fortune-telling machine predicted the weather for Frostbite Falls, Minnesota.
4 lines means it's going to be cloudy.
Cloudy in more ways than one, for the jerk of all trades, Boris Badenov,
And faithful Indian companion Natasha.
kidnapped the card machine and set it up in the main salon of Boris's showboat, recently rechristened the Sands Hotel.
Is worth a gamble, I always say.
Rocky and Bullwinkle tried their darndest to get the weather lady back, and eventually it came down to an out-and-out trade.
$50 for the weather lady.
It's a deal.
And no funny stuff.
That's the way it's been so far.
Rocky insisted the transaction be held in front of witnesses. Thus, in the middle of Main Street,
Here's the money. Now where's the...
Look out, there's a skeeter in our midst.
actually it was on Boris's cheek. Well, when the gentlemen lining the streets of this southern community viewed that,
Struck him in the face, sir. This calls for a settlement on the field of honor.
or in layman's language, a duel. The following morning at dawn, in a quiet field, the opposing parties met.
But I thought a duel meant goodbye in French.
Quiet, Bullwinkle, and let me think of a way out of this mess.
Mr. Badenov, as your second, let me wish you the best of luck.
That's very big of you, I'm sure.
You're not frightened, are you?
Who, me? Listen, Georgie Porgy, my favorite composer is no coward.
Yes, neither Bullwinkle nor Boris wanted any part of this affair. But when in Rome,
You'll take 10 paces, turn, and fire at will.
and you can see the kind of a show this is when we don't pun an obvious setup like that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, it was such a beautiful day that everyone forgot about the duel. Rocky, the second, and the judge had a picnic.
42, 43, 44.
As for Bullwinkle and Boris, they just kept walking. The whole thing blew over, and once more, our heroes attempted to purchase the weather lady.
Oh, boy, are my legs stiff.
Here's your $50.
And here is envelope containing key which unlocks safety deposit box containing weather lady.
Alas, it contained a key that unlocked the safety deposit box, all right, but the weather lady wasn't in it.
Say, can't the fella rent a room around here with any privacy?
That does it.
It sure does.
Now I'm mad.
And when a flying squirrel gets mad,
$3.80 between us. That's not enough. Bullwinkle, we gotta raise more money.
they dug ditches, performed on street corners, scrubbed floors, sold magazine subscriptions.
Now how much do we have?
$3.85.
Yes, the wage scale then was unfortunately low, as were the lad's spirits. And that's when the circus hit town.
Wanted high platform diver. That's me, Bullwinkle.
The plucky squirrel gave 3 performances a day.
Remember when we used to do this in the title rock?
And so, when the Dingaling Brothers Circus left town, Rocky and Bullwinkle had earned well over $1,000.
Well, we did it, Rock. But what did we do it for?
You'll see. Come on.
The Sands Hotel was jammed with customers, all taking the customary shellacking from the weather lady, when the squirrel plopped the money on the table.
$1,100.15 that Miss Booth there can be beaten.
Well, it's obvious Rocky has a plan in mind. What that plan is will be revealed in our next exciting episode. They didn't pick up our option, or Showdown.
And now it's time for that man of 1,000 helpful suggestions, Mr. Know-It-All.
Thank you, and hello, man of 1,000 helpful suggestions lovers everywhere. Today we are taking up the problem of how to disarm a live 5,000 megaton TNT bomb in your own workshop in your spare time to amuse your friends. Or just yourself, even. First and surest fire is the hairpin technique, which requires 1, a common hairpin, and 2, a common bomb. This method, when employed by an expert professional bomb disarmer, is 100% safe. 99% anyway. For the beginner, it is often more satisfying to work with a smaller bomb, or a teeny, as the professionals call it. Next, it is important to be able to detect the bomb before disarming it. One would think it would be this object because of the ticking sound, but obviously that's just to throw one off. Likewise with these 2 objects. But here, cleverly disguised as a bomb, is a bomb. And thus, another nasty scene has been averted by...
Gosh, Mr. Know-It-All, what happened? I was about to tell you your time is almost up.
Throw it away! Get rid of it! Run for your life! Lucky I got my own watch. Taking no chances. Now, where's that match? Oh, yes. I think it said 5:15.
there. Sherman here. I'm doing a solo today, and the reason is because poor Mr. Peabody is laid up. How do you feel, Mr. Peabody?
Not too well, Sherman. I have a slight case of distemper.
Well, don't you worry, Mr. Peabody. I'll take the folks back into history today.
You're a dog's best friend, Sherman. Where do you plan to go?
I thought we'd go to Coney Island.
Sherman.
Sorry, Mr. Peabody. Today we shall meet that great physicist and astronomer Galileo. So I shall set Mr. Peabody's Wayback Machine for Pisa, Italy in the year 1592. Even without Mr. Peabody along, the Wayback responded in his customary flawless fashion, which is what Mr. Peabody would have said if he were here. In what seemed like no time at all, I was standing at the base of the leaning tower of Pisa. And there, pounding on the door, was the great man himself, Galileo.
Come on, open up the door.
Golly, Mr. Galileo, what seems to be the trouble?
Go away, kid.
But I'm here to help you.
Then get somebody to open the door.
Why do you want to get in there?
You see these two metal balls? One's a big and one is a small. I'm gonna go up in the tower and drop these two balls.
What'll that prove?
That they both will hit the ground at the same time.
This was a problem that only Mr. Peabody could solve. Hang on, Mr. Galileo. I'll be right back.
The solution is obvious, Sherman. The only way into the tower is through the locked door, and the only way to open a locked door is with a key.
Returning to Pisa, I took Mr. Galileo to the nearest locksmith.
Sure, I make you a key to open a tower, but it's a cost you 10 lira.
Gee, I've only got 3 Indian head pennies and a skate key.
That's no good.
What do you have, Mr. Galileo?
I got 3 Indian head skate keys and a penny.
That's not gonna get it either, Jack.
Again, it was a problem that only Mr. Peabody could solve.
My, you are certainly having your troubles.
It would have been so much easier if we'd gone to Coney Island.
You really have no problem, Sherman. Find a job for Galileo and earn the money for the key.
But the only things Galileo could do were dropping metal balls from leaning towers and astronomy. So we chose astronomy. Step right up, folks, and let the great Galileo tell your fortune by the stars.
I'm also read the palms and guess you wait. All for 10 lira.
Fortune-telling business was so slow that the only customer we got was a tall, dark man in uniform.
I may see by the crystal ball that you are a tall, dark man in a uniform.
See, what else you can tell me, huh?
You in a law business.
Go on.
I'm also gonna tell you what you gonna do in the next 30 seconds.
What's that?
You gonna arrest the kid and me for telling fortunes without a license.
That's right.
We were thrown on the first gondola leaving for Switzerland, which meant we were exiled from Italy forever.
Well, kid, looks like I'm not gonna get into the tower to prove my theory.
Wait right here, Mr. Galileo. I'll be back.
You're like a bad penny, Sherman. You keep turning up with problems.
And this one's a Lulu.
Nonsense. You can get back into Italy by becoming national heroes.
How do we do that?
By taking advantage of your appetites.
And Mr. Peabody instructed me to take Mr. Galileo to the spaghetti eating contest in Paris, France.
The team who eats the most spaghetti will win.
Shot a meatball into the air, and we were off and eating. 5 hours later...
The winners are the astronomers.
Spaghetti being the national dish of Italy, we not only won 10 lira first prize, but were also made honorary citizens of Italy, just as Mr. Peabody had figured. 1 week later, we stood before the Tower of Pisa with the key that would open the door.
Well, here goes, kid. It's dark in here. I'll light a match.
It was then I smelled escaping gas, but before I could stop him, Galileo had struck. When the smoke cleared, the tower was still standing, although it was leaning, as it still is today. Galileo was free to prove his theory, so my job was done.
Oh, no, it isn't. Where did the escaping gas come from, and who had locked the door?
The gas came from an oven, and the door was locked by a mad Italian scientist.
What was a mad Italian scientist doing with an oven in the Tower of Pisa?
He was inventing a new pie.
Oh, no, Sherman. Not pizza pie.
No, chicken cacciatore.
home stretch, and still Rocky and Bullwinkle have not regained possession of the fortune-telling machine.
We've been cheated, bamboozled, and hornswoggled.
Sounds like a law firm.
Fortunately, a circus came to town, and this gave the little squirrel an idea.
With the money we could earn working for the circus, we could get the weather lady back.
And there are those today who still rave about the Dingaling Brothers high diving act.
Ta-da!
Lord, that's effective.
Sure is.
Mighty talented squirrel.
Squirrel, I was looking at that platform.
Well, by the time the circus left town, our heroes were financially solvent.
$1,000 and change.
And now we'll try and buy the weather lady back again, correct?
Incorrect.
That evening, Rocky entered the gambling salon of Badanov's gambling showboat and issued a challenge.
I'll bet $1,000 she can be beaten.
Well, it's little bad Penny who always turns up. So you want to make a bet, huh? Okie dokie, here is cards.
Just a minute. If I win, I don't want to be paid off in cash.
What color stamps you like?
If I win, you got to give the weather lady back to Frostbite Falls.
You must be kidding.
Boris, what you got to lose? Blonde always win.
Squirrel is bet. Here is cards.
Wait a minute. My challenger hasn't arrived yet.
Challenger, you got train coming in here?
No, it wasn't a train, but it was operating under a full head of steam. Yes, into the room came Bullwinkle, pulling, of all things, another fortune-telling machine.
The great predictor tells all. What is this?
According to this newspaper clipping, you challenged anybody or anything to play Miss Ruth Booth here.
Boris would have protested had it not been for the customers who insisted he follow through.
This must be final episode. Squirrel always gets best of me in end. Okay, start your machine first.
There wasn't a relaxed nerve in the house as the man in the booth shuffled and extracted not one, but 4 kings.
We need 4 aces, darling. 4 unmitigated aces.
We need our own show. That's what we need. Okay, here goes something.
The weather lady performed like a champion. She shuffled, cut, and then proceeded to extract 4 aces from the deck.
1,
2.
And then it happened. She began shuffling and cutting like a demon. Cards flew everywhere.
It happened, just like I figured.
Who built this thing, Colin and Clive?
Don't you see? The other machine was too much for her. She fell in love.
Now I see the light.
He didn't for long. Boris and Natasha each grabbed a machine and in the darkness managed to lower a lifeboat into the water.
Row, Natasha, row. With these 2, we can breed whole new race of dealers.
Boris, sign on boat, say capacity 500 pounds.
So what? You, me, and 2 lovey-doveys here don't weigh that?
No, but bag full of ill-gotten gains does.
And so as the setting lifeboat sinks into the sea, we bid a fond but reluctant farewell to this part of our story and pick it up in Frostbite Falls some 2 months later.
Sure missed the weather lady. She was downright attractive.
This one's just as accurate, though. Pair of deuces.
Pair of deuces? That means variable high fogginess gradually clearing by 2 in the morning, providing it don't rain.
Bullwinkle, how's it going?
Not bad, Rock. Card's a little sticky, though. Hi there, poultry lovers. We got a real treat in store for you today. A special guest, Mr. Peter Piker.
That's Piper.
Yeah. Mr. Piker is the star of the well-known famous poem, Peter Piker picked a peck of pickled peppers.
That's pickled.
That's what I said, pickled. A peck of pickled pickers Peter Piker picked.
The name is Peter. Peter Piper.
And you can call me Bullwinkle. If Peter Piker pecked a pickle pickers,
Brother,
where's the pickle Peter Piker picked? How's that?
you got a bad case of pookles there, fella.
And that's our first question. Where are they?
Where what?
The peppers, the pickled peppers.
Oh, I'm out of the pickle business now.
You are?
I couldn't say it either.
Hey, that's great. What are you doing now?
I help my sister Susie.
And what does she do?
She sells seashells at the seashore.
That's better.